Most people die at 25 and aren't buried until they're 75. I'm 78 years old, and I spent 50 of those years proving that statement true. Everything you've been told about living a full life, about waiting for the right moment, about being practical first and passionate later, it's a trap. A comfortable, socially acceptable trap that will steal your life one, not yet, at a time. I know because I built that trap myself, brick by brick, excuse by excuse. I walked into it willingly every single morning for decades. But before I tell you what finally woke me up, you need to understand something. The version of you that you're protecting right now, the one you're keeping safe and comfortable, that version is killing the person you could become. I'm not here to lecture you. I'm here because I sat in a chair 3 weeks ago, in a hospital waiting room that smelled like antiseptic and old coffee, and I watched a man my age cry silently into his hands. He just learned he had maybe 6 months, and the first words out of his mouth weren't about the disease. They were, "I never did it. I just never did it." I don't know what his it was, but I recognized the sound in his voice. I've heard it in my own head for years. That's why I'm recording this. Because if you're watching this right now, there's a chance you're about to waste another day telling yourself the same lie I told myself for half a century. And I can't save that man in the waiting room, but maybe I can save you from becoming him. If this lands, if something in you recognizes what I'm about to say, leave a comment. Just one word. Awake. That's all. I want to know if this reaches someone before it's too late. My life looked fine from the outside. I had a decent job, paid my mortgage on time, showed up to birthdays, mowed the lawn every Saturday morning at 8:30. I smiled at neighbors. I filed my taxes early. I was responsible, reliable, the kind of person people called steady. But inside, I was hollow. I'd sit at the kitchen table on Sunday nights, and the only thing I'd feel was the hum of the refrigerator. Not peace, not satisfaction, just the hum. And I'd think, is this it? Is this what I worked for? But I'd push the thought down, because the alternative was admitting I'd chosen wrong, that I'd traded the shape of my life for the appearance of one. I wasn't living. I was going through the motions. And the worst part? I knew it. Every single day, I knew it. Then one morning, I walked into my garage. It was April, early, cold enough to see my breath. I reached for a box on the top shelf, an old box I hadn't opened in maybe 20 years. It tipped, fell, hit the concrete and split open. And out came a notebook. Blue cover, bent at the edges, pages yellowed. I picked it up, flipped it open. And there, in my own handwriting from 1982, was a list. 10 things I was going to do before I turned 40. Learn piano, write a book, see the northern lights, teach my kids to build something with their hands, start a garden, take my wife dancing once a month. I stood there in that freezing garage, holding that notebook, and I realized I was 77 years old, and I hadn't done a single one. Not one. I had 37 years, and I'd done nothing. I set the notebook on the workbench, went back inside, made coffee, and I thought, what happened? The lie is so simple it's almost embarrassing. I have time. That's it. 3 words. But those 3 words will destroy you if you let them. I have time to start that project. I have time to fix that relationship. I have time to travel. I have time to be the person I want to be. Later, after this job, after the kids graduate, after I save more, after things settle down, I have time. And you believe it because it feels true. You're young, or young enough. You're healthy, or healthy enough. You've got decades ahead of you, probably. So what's the harm in waiting 1 more year? 1 more month? What's the harm in staying comfortable just a little longer? Do you know what you sound like when you say that? You sound exactly like I did at 30, and at 40, and at 50. I knew a man named Richard. He worked in the same building as me for 18 years. Quiet guy, kept to himself. But every time you'd ask him how he was doing, he'd smile and say, just counting down to retirement. That was his whole life. waiting for 65. He had plans, big plans. He and his wife were going to buy an RV, drive across the country, see everything they'd missed while he was working. He had maps, he had routes marked. He had it all figured out. He retired in June, had the party, got the gold watch, the whole thing. 2 months later, he had a stroke. Massive. He lived, but he couldn't walk right anymore. Couldn't drive. The RV sat in his driveway for 3 years. Then his wife sold it. I saw him once after that, at a grocery store. I said, "Hey Richard, how's retirement?" And he looked at me with these empty eyes and said, "I ran out of time." That's all he said. I ran out of time. And I knew exactly what he meant. Here's what I regret. I regret every morning I woke up and didn't write. I had ideas. I had sentences in my head. I had a story I wanted to tell, but I told myself I'd do it later, when I had more time. When I knew more, when I was ready. I was never ready. I regret every time I said no to my kids when they asked me to play. Because I was tired. Because I had work to do. Because I'd play with them tomorrow. Except tomorrow, I'd say the same thing. And now they're 43 and 41, and they don't ask me to play anymore. I regret not learning piano. I wanted to. I thought about it constantly, but I never sat down. Never took the first lesson. Now my hands shake too much. I regret not kissing my wife more. Not in some grand romantic way, just more. In the kitchen, in the hallway. For no reason. Because she was there and I loved her. I thought I had time for that. I regret every time I stayed quiet when I had something to say. Every time I played it safe. Every time I chose comfort over truth. I regret not taking more risks. Not failing more. Not looking stupid more. I regret being so afraid of what people would think that I never found out what I could become. I regret not traveling when my body worked. I regret not calling my brother more before he died. I regret not starting things, not finishing things, not trying things. I regret waiting. But here's what changes it. You stop lying to yourself. That's step one. You stop saying, "I have time," and you start saying, "I have today." Because that's the truth. You don't know if you have tomorrow. You might. Probably. But you don't know. So you act like today matters, because it does. You pick one thing. Not 10 things. One. The thing that's been sitting in the back of your mind for years. The thing you keep putting off. And you do it today. Not perfectly, not completely. Just do it. Start. Make the call. Write the first page. Sign up for the class. Buy the ticket. Have the conversation. Today. And then tomorrow, you do it again. You build a life in days, not decades. You stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the right moment. Stop waiting for confidence. You just move. And you do it scared. You do it tired. You do it badly at first. But you do it. You also stop letting your job eat your whole life. I'm not saying quit. I'm saying put a fence around it. Work your hours. Do your job. Then stop. And use the rest of your time like it belongs to you. Because it does. You stop pretending maintenance is living. Paying bills isn't living. Mowing the lawn isn't living. Those are things you do so you can live. But they're not the life. Stop treating them like they are. You don't have forever. I don't have forever. That man in the waiting room doesn't have 6 months anymore. Maybe 5 now. Maybe 4. Maybe he's already gone. I don't know. But I know this. Every day you wait is a day you don't get back. Every time you say, someday, you're choosing to let that day disappear. And one day, you'll run out of days. You'll be sitting somewhere, holding something that reminds you of who you wanted to be. And you'll realize you never became that person. And it will hurt worse than anything you were afraid of. So do it now. Start now, today, this hour. I don't care what it is. Just stop waiting. If this hit you, if you felt it, let me know. Comment below. Tell me what you've been putting off. Tell me what you're going to start today. I'll read everyone. Because I want to know I didn't waste my breath. I want to know someone heard this before it was too late. What's the thing you keep telling yourself you'll do later?